How's it going, my fellow shiny Pokemon? ShinySnorlax here, bringing you guys some Pokemon Showdown commentary. And first off, let's start with Team PV. But before we get to that, I got a couple things to say. I haven't been uploading that much on this channel because I've been trying to get some stuff on Shiny Plays, and all of it's just been failing because fucking lag and fraps and everything. And also, as you guys know, the place where I live has screaming children. Of course, that always pisses me off when it's in my videos, and sometimes I feel like they do it on purpose. So yee. And also, final exams are going to be coming up soon, so you guys originally will expect to me not upload that much because of studying. However, what I'm planning on doing is studying at school so I could have time for uploading at home. And also, I'm going to definitely be having some guests, some IRL friends, like Cherish, you guys never know. And also, what else? Fuck. I felt like there's gonna be more. But, I'll just put an annotation of it. But, of course, let's get to the team preview. So we have Altaria with Altaria Knight, Natural Cure, Earthquake, Return, Dragon Dance, Cotton Guard, Magnezone, Choice Scarf, Magnapult, Thunderbolt, and Power Fire, Flash Cannon, Volt Switch, Superior, Life Orb, Contrary, Giga Drain, and Power Rock, Dragon Pulse, and Leaf Storm. Heatran, Leftovers, Flash Fire, Taunt, Toxic, Lava Plume, and Stealth Rock. Rotom Wash, Leftovers, Levitate, Pain Split, Hydro Pump, Will-O-Wisp, and Volt Switch. And Dragonite, Choice Band, Multi-Scale, Earthquake, Fire Punch, Extreme Speed, and Outrage. Also, going to ask you guys a bit of something if you're the type of guys, if you're watching this and you are willing to comment. First of all, thank you. Second of all, if you could give me a suggestion to try to get rid of my Heatran counter. Actually messes up my team quite a bit, because all the things that have somewhat super effective advantages, fucking Rotom Wash, and the only thing I can take it out with is Altaria and Earthquake. So yeah, so leave some comments for some good ideas for Heatran counters, especially defensive specifically. So yeah, other than that, let's get to the battle. How's it going, everyone? ShinySnorlax here, bringing you guys the Pokemon Showdown battle, so let's get to it. Opponent leads off this Politoed. I predicted the lead, so I bring out my Magnezone. Opponent switches out into this Manectric, and I go for a Volt Switch. I knew the Manectric was obvious, but I decided to see if he was that type of guy. So I decided to switch out to my Heatran, knowing I could take almost any hit pretty decently. Opponent Mega Evolves and goes for a Flamethrower, but I get the Flash Fire boost from it. Opponent goes for a Volt Switch, doing a decent amount of damage, and brings out its Rotom Wash. And I go for a Lava Plume, hoping to do somewhat amount of damage, and opponent gets burned. I switch out into my Rotom Wash, and hoping I can take a hit, and opponent goes for a Volt Switch into his Breloom. I decided to switch out here to bring out my Superior, hoping I could take a hit, and opponent goes for a Bullet Seed, 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, 4 hits, and 4 hits, and Superior not taking it well, and it's going to be finished off with a Mach Punch. I decided to bring out my Rotom Wash, and I actually misclicked here. I meant to click Dragonite. The opponent goes for a Bullet Seed, and hits twice. Second hit is critical hits. I go for a Fire Punch, and getting it down to about half. Opponent goes for a Spore, and the rain stops. I switch out into my Magnezone, predicting the Politoed. However, the opponent brings out its Manphy. I knew the opponent was going to bring out its Manectric, so I decided to bring out my Altaria. And the opponent does indeed bring out his Manectric. I decided to Mega Evolve here, and opponent goes for a Hidden Power, probably a Hidden Power Ice, Hidden Power. And I go for an Earthquake, bringing it down to about half. Opponent decides to switch out into his Rotom Wash. I decided Dragon Dance, predicting the switch. Opponent gets hit by the burn, and I go for a Return, hoping to do somewhat amount of damage because I knew a Will-O-Wisp was coming my way. Opponent decides does indeed go for the Will-O-Wisp, and opponent's hit by the burn. I decide to go for a Dragon Dance, hopefully trying to get rid of that attack lower. Opponent goes for a Pain Split, bring himself a little bit under half. I decide to go for a Return, taking out the Rotom Wash. And right now, at this moment, I'm just leaving Altaria out to die. Opponent brings out his Politoed, bringing the rain back, and opponent switches out into its Ferrothorn. I decide to go for an Earthquake, trying to get some damage in, and the Arteria goes down. I decide to bring out my Heatran, and go for a taunt so he doesn't set up any hazards. Opponent can't go for a Leech Seed because I taunted him, and opponent switches out into his Manphy. I go for a Stealth Rock, and here I was hoping that I'll try to be a bit more faster. However, the opponent goes for a Tail Glow, and I actually misclicked here. Originally meant to click Taunt, and I go for a Toxic instead. The opponent goes for a Scald and takes out my Heatran. And that's I bring out my Magnezone. I go for a Thunderbolt, taking out the Manaphy. And the opponent brings out his Ferrothorn. I go for a Thunderbolt, just checking how much damage it will do, and it doesn't do that much. Opponent goes for a Leech Seed. And I believe I switch out into my Rotom Wash. Oh no, I bring out my Dragonites. Opponent goes for its Stealth Rocks, and the rain stops. Right here, I'm just trying to wake up my Dragonite. Opponent goes for a Gyro Ball, not killing. And opponent switches out into its Politoed. And I'm still asleep. I decided to switch out because I was afraid of an Ice Beam into my Rotom Wash. Opponent goes for a Scald, and not doing that much. I go for a Will-O-Wisp just to try to get some extra damage on that Politoed by turns. Opponent goes for another Scald, bring me to a scary range. So I believe I decided to switch out. Oh no, I went for a Pain Split trying to get more health. Opponent goes for Hypnosis but misses. And opponent's hit by the burn, and I go for the Volt Switch, almost killing the Politoed. I bring out my Dragonites. Opponent goes for an Opcore, but it fails. And Politoed goes down from the burn. Opponent brings out its Manectric, and my attack goes down. I wake up, and I go for an Extreme Speed, and I'm not going to fucking count that. And I'm not going to fucking count that as hacks, because hacks is part of the game. Opponent brings out its Ferrothorn. I switch out into my Rotom Wash, just trying to stall out the Rain Soul Dragon. I could try to kill this thing with his Fire Punch. The Ferrothorn goes for a Leech Seed on my Rotom Wash, and then I go for a Will-O-Wisp on the Ferrothorn, just trying to get some damage, so Dragonite could hopefully finish it off. The rain is now down, and I go for a Pain Split, just trying to stall out Rotom Wash's death. And opponent goes for a Gyro Ball, not doing much damage, and opponent's hurt by the burn. I go for the Volt Switch, getting very little damage in. And I switch out into my Magnezone. Opponent goes for a Thunder Wave, and I am immune to it. I go for a Hidden Power Fire, taking out the Ferrothorn. And opponent brings out its Breloom. And opponent goes for a Mach Punch, almost taking out my Magnezone. However, it survives, and I go for Hidden Power Fire and taking out the Breloom. So yeah, that was a pretty decent battle, if you ask me. Even though that Dragonite's Awake was very lucky on my part. Hacks is part of the game, my friends. And everyone's willing to agree with me on this. So yeah, be sure to comment down below, body slam the like button, and subscribe if you want to become a shiny Pokemon today. And I'll see you next time.